Los Angeles is an interesting place of contradiction. It's a place where people come to realize their dreams. And it's also a place where a lot of dreams are dashed.
What Enterprise is doing is being more thoughtful about its strategy. It's looking in the mirror and saying, if we're going to have some impact in the communities that we serve, which are typically low-income communities of color, we have to be more thoughtful about who we are and who we're serving. Because our goal is to make sure that we're building neighborhoods that are equitable and inclusive and addressing the racial and economic inequalities that we see in the communities that we serve.
Equity is about looking at the way in which there's a racial wealth gap because of redlining in terms of real estate practices, the way in which there's an education gap because the way in which we've starved money to schools that happen to have children of color. It means correcting the past. But it also means that in the present, what we need to do is to make sure that everybody is a part of the decision-making process, making sure that we're reaching out to communities that would not be involved in the planning process, looking ahead to repair any kind of damages that we might be doing inadvertently as we move forward.
We're doing many things. We're collaborating and partnering with community-based organizations to take the collective voices of those and the people that they serve to inform our strategies and practices. We're advancing strategies around production and preservation of affordable housing in those respective communities because those communities are usually the most vulnerable.
Our partnership with Enterprise is vital to the work that we do because they support us financially as well as introducing us to cutting-edge ideas and programs that help us get knowledge so that we can be better at the work that we do.
Sustainable Connected Communities was really driven to become what it is now because of the deep issues that were being seen manifest in local communities here that were really being hit hard by gentrification pressures and unwelcome displacement. Enterprise recognized that this was a threat to the stability of these communities and decided to create a place-based investment program supporting initially 6 communities in the city of LA and then expanding into different communities in the county of LA that were facing similar threats and big investments that were coming in. We've begun bringing all of those neighborhood groups together so they can be a support for each other and be thought partners and help all of us really learn from the practices that they're fine-tuning every day to figure out how do we do equitable development, how do we really address racial equity in these communities, because if we're ever going to solve it, it has to be at the neighborhood level.
Building equity in terms of distribution of resources, policies, and practices is so important now that we have more resources than ever.
It's harder for us because some of us don't have that income that we need to go forward and get something better. I'm blessed. I love it here. There's no way I'm going to move from here.
I continue to have hope or I wouldn't do what I do, and yet I see that there's a long way to go. And the only way we can do that is we got to go together. We have to get there together.
We can be creative about the kind of policies that we need to put together. Our business community also needs to be involved. There can be no economic prosperity unless there's also racial and economic equity.
We made a commitment in 2016 to devote all of our resources to advancing social and economic equity. That soon became a focus on advancing specifically racial equity and racial justice. Not only did it apply to our grant-making programs, but it applied to everything that the foundation was involved in, from the way we invest our money, to who we hire, to who we contract with. We can't fulfill this mission, we can't move the needle on racial equity and racial justice without partners like Enterprise. They're an organization that we need to support so they can continue to do this work on the ground.
If we really want to see the groups that have been underserved in a way that's meaningful and meets their needs, We need to lead with the frame of racial equity and economic mobility with those particular groups. That's what I'm working towards. The Los Angeles that includes everyone.